Welcome to Simply Explained Academy. Today, we're diving into a topic that has been the subject of endless speculation. Could Bitcoin ever reach $1 million? It sounds impossible, but when you dig into the factors driving Bitcoin's value, like its limited supply, increasing adoption, and its role as a hedge against inflation, it starts to seem less like a fantasy and more like a possibility. Before we get started, do me a favor. Please like and hit subscribe if you're new here. It really helps the channel grow, and it means you won't miss out on any of our future crypto discussions. All right, let's jump into it. Here's a quick overview of what we're tackling today. Bitcoin hitting $1 million isn't impossible. It has a limited supply, increasing demand, and some serious backing from investors. But there are hurdles too: regulation, competition, and its own technological challenges. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear picture of both the opportunities and obstacles. So, let's get into the details. All right, for anyone who's new to Bitcoin, let's start with the basics. What is Bitcoin? Think of it as digital money that lives entirely online. Unlike traditional currencies like dollars or euros, Bitcoin isn't controlled by any government or central bank. Instead, it operates on a technology called blockchain. Blockchain is like a giant super secure digital ledger that records every single Bitcoin transaction ever made. It's decentralized, meaning it's spread out across thousands of computers around the world. This makes it nearly impossible to hack or manipulate. Now, here's the kicker. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. That's hard-coded into its software. No one, not even the most powerful governments, can create more Bitcoin. This built-in scarcity is one of the main reasons people believe Bitcoin could eventually reach $1 million. Let's talk about why people believe Bitcoin could hit that 7-figure mark. There are 3 big reasons: scarcity, adoption, and its role as a hedge against inflation. First up, scarcity. If you've ever taken an economics class, you've probably heard about supply and demand. The basic idea is that when something is scarce and everyone wants it, its value goes up. Bitcoin is a perfect example of this. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, and as of today, about 19.5 million have already been mined. That leaves less than 2 million Bitcoins left. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin network goes through an event called the halving. During this event, the number of new Bitcoins miners can earn is cut in half. This makes Bitcoin even scarcer over time. To put it into perspective, imagine if we suddenly discovered there was no more gold to mine on Earth. Whatever gold exists right now would become incredibly valuable because it's limited. Bitcoin works the same way, but in a digital form. That's why it's often referred to as digital gold. Now let's take a step back and look at Bitcoin's price history. Back in 2010, someone famously spent 10,000 Bitcoins on 2 pizzas. At the time, Bitcoin was worth less than a penny. Fast forward to 2025, and Bitcoin hit an all-time high of nearly $112,000 per coin. That's an astronomical increase in value, driven largely by its limited supply and growing demand. If history has taught us anything, it's that scarcity combined with adoption can lead to explosive price growth. The question is, can this trend continue? And if so, could it take Bitcoin all the way to $1 million? Next, let's talk about adoption. In its early days, Bitcoin was mostly used by tech enthusiasts and people looking to make anonymous transactions online. Fast forward to today, and it's a whole different story. Major companies like Tesla and MicroStrategy have invested billions of dollars in Bitcoin. Payment platforms like PayPal and Square enable users to buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin, making it more accessible than ever before. Now, another major driver of adoption is institutional investment. Hedge funds, pension funds, and large corporations are starting to see Bitcoin as a legitimate asset class. For example, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, offers Bitcoin investment products that provide exposure to Bitcoin. When institutions get involved, they bring not only money, but also credibility to the market. Imagine if even 1% of the trillions of dollars managed by these institutions were allocated to Bitcoin. That could send its price soaring to new heights. And finally, inflation. If you've ever noticed that your groceries or rent seem to cost more each year, you've felt the effects of inflation. It happens when governments print more money, increasing the money supply and reducing the value of each individual unit of currency. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. That's why many investors see it as a hedge against inflation, a way to protect their wealth when traditional currencies lose value. For instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, central banks around the world printed trillions of dollars to stimulate their economies. This led to concerns about inflation, and many people turned to Bitcoin as a safe haven for their money. It's no coincidence that Bitcoin's price skyrocketed during this time. As the global economy continues to face challenges like debt crises, currency devaluations, and geopolitical tensions, Bitcoin could become an increasingly attractive option for people looking to safeguard their wealth. Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are some significant hurdles that could prevent Bitcoin from reaching $1 million. Let's break them down. One of the biggest challenges is regulation. Governments around the world have very different attitudes toward Bitcoin. Some countries, like El Salvador, initially embraced Bitcoin by making it legal tender, but as of early 2025, they rolled back that status. Others, like China, have banned it altogether. Why the hostility? Well, Bitcoin operates outside traditional financial systems, which makes it hard for governments to control. They worry about things like tax evasion, money laundering, and losing control over their monetary policies. If more governments decide to crack down on Bitcoin, it could hurt its adoption and, by extension, its price. On the flip side, if governments create clear and fair regulations, it could actually boost Bitcoin's legitimacy and attract more investors. Next, we have competition. Bitcoin might be the first and most famous cryptocurrency, but it's far from the only one. Ethereum, for example, offers a platform for decentralized apps and smart contracts, which makes it more versatile than Bitcoin. Other coins like Solana, Cardano, and Binance Coin are faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient. If these newer cryptocurrencies gain more traction, they could eat into Bitcoin's market share. And if Bitcoin loses its dominance, it might not reach the heights people are hoping for. However, Bitcoin has one major advantage. It's the most trusted and well-known cryptocurrency. It's often called the gold standard of crypto, and this reputation gives it staying power. Even if newer coins offer better technology, Bitcoin's brand recognition and first-mover advantage could help it maintain its status as the leading cryptocurrency. Next, we have volatility. Bitcoin's price is famously volatile. It's not unusual for the price to swing by 10% or more in a single day. While this volatility attracts traders looking to make quick profits, it scares off long-term investors and institutions that value stability. Also, many people buy Bitcoin out of fear of missing out, only to panic sell when the price drops. This creates a cycle of boom and bust, which can make it hard for Bitcoin to achieve sustainable growth. Bitcoin uses a system called proof of work to secure its network. While this system is very secure, it's also extremely energy intensive. In fact, Bitcoin mining consumes more electricity than some entire countries. This has led to criticism from environmental groups and even governments. However, there's a growing movement toward green mining, where miners use renewable energy sources. If Bitcoin can successfully transition to greener practices, it could alleviate some of these concerns and make it more appealing to investors. All right, for Bitcoin to hit $1 million, there are a few things that need to happen. First, widespread adoption. More businesses, governments, and institutions need to start using Bitcoin. Next, global economic shifts. If traditional currencies lose trust or value, Bitcoin could step in as a global store of value. Technological advancements are also key. Bitcoin continues to improve scalability with solutions like the Lightning Network, but its energy consumption remains high due to its proof-of-work system. And finally, regulatory clarity. If governments set clear and fair rules, it could bring in more investors. If all this lines up, we might just see Bitcoin reaching new heights. So, could Bitcoin ever reach $1 million? The answer is maybe. It's not guaranteed, but it's not impossible either. Bitcoin has already defied expectations countless times, going from being worth a few cents to tens of thousands of dollars. What do you think? Is 1 million Bitcoin a realistic goal, or is it just wishful thinking? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to learn even more about crypto, watch this video.